in a time when kings reigned with iron fists, when the cries of the oppressed rose to the heavens like smoke from smoldering altars, in a land where warriors rode with fury and gods of war ruled hearts hardened by idolatry. A woman, a tent, a nail, and a hammer changed the fate of a nation. This is the story of Jael, the unexpected deliverer. The book of Judges, chapter 5, tucked in the sacred texts of Israel's history, is not merely poetry. It is a battle cry. It is a victory chant. It is a declaration of God's dominion over the mighty, through the meek. For 20 long years, the children of Israel groaned under the cruel oppression of Jabin, king of Canaan. His military commander, Sisera, led with terror, commanding 900 chariots of iron. Israel had no answer, no army, no king, no swords. But they had a prophetess. They had a warrior woman of God. They had Deborah.
In the hill country of Ephraim, under the swaying branches of a solitary palm, Deborah heard from the Lord. When men were silent, she spoke. When fear gripped Israel, she arose. Has not the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you? She said to Barak, the hesitant general. Go, take with you 10,000 men and lead them to Mount Tabor. Barak trembled, not for lack of faith in God, but fear of the odds. If you go with me, I will go. But if you don't go with me, I won't go, he pleaded. And Deborah, full of courage and divine fire, replied, Certainly I will go with you. But because of the course you are taking, the honor will not be yours. For the Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. Mount Tabor stood witness to the rising faith of 10,000 warriors. And as the enemy gathered in the valley of Kishon, the heavens prepared for war. The Lord thundered from heaven, the earth trembled beneath Israel's feet. The iron chariots of Sisera, pride of Canaan's army, became useless as torrential rains turned the valley into a swamp of judgment. Barak charged, Israel surged forward, and Sisera fled. And now enters the tent of destiny, a lone tent pitched on neutral ground far from the noise of the battlefield. There stood Jael, wife of Heber the Kenite, a clan of wanderers descended from Moses' in-laws. Her people were at peace with Jabin the king, but her heart beat for a greater king. When Sisera stumbled into view, disoriented, weary, desperate for shelter, Jael stepped out, calm, composed, discerning. Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid, she said softly. He asked for water. She gave him milk from a noble woman's skin, warm and comforting. She covered him with a blanket. She offered him rest. But Jael was not just offering hospitality. She was discerning a divine moment, a moment when silence would be complicity and boldness would be obedience. As Sisera sank into sleep, believing he had found safety, he had unknowingly stepped into the judgment of God. Jael, the tent dweller, Jael, the homemaker, Jael, the hand of God's justice. With trembling yet determined hands, she lifted the hammer, positioned the tent peg at his temple, and with one mighty blow, she drove the iron deep into his skull.
The mighty had fallen, the oppressor silenced, not on the battlefield, not by sword or spear, but in the tent of a woman, with no title, no army, no armor, just obedience and courage.
When Barak came in pursuit of Sisera, Jael met him with a calm strength. Come, she said, I will show you the man you're looking for. And there, lifeless on the ground, lay the body of Sisera, not slain by sword, but by righteous hands. Then sang Deborah and Barak. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, most blessed of tent-dwelling women. He asked for water, and she gave him milk. In a noble's bowl she brought him curds. Her hand reached for the tent peg, her right hand for the workman's hammer. She struck Sisera, she crushed his head, she shattered and pierced his temple. Through one act of bravery, Israel's chains were broken. Through one woman's yes, a nation sang again. And through one moment of divine purpose, the name Jael was etched into eternity. She was not a soldier, she was not a prophet, but she was ready. She did not wait for a sign in the sky. She did not seek applause or permission. She saw injustice. She saw an opportunity, and she obeyed the prompting of the Most High. In the war between kingdoms, God does not always choose the strong. Sometimes he chooses the unnoticed, the quiet, the available. Sometimes, deliverance comes not with the roar of horses, but with the quiet footsteps of a woman on holy ground. This was not just the fall of Sisera. This was the rise of Jael. When the obedient rise, nations find rest, and the land had peace for 40 years.